There's such a simple solution. Make law schools give refunds to people who don't pass the bar.
They should just rewrite the rules so that the consequence falls on the university much more heavily. Hello and welcome to episode 527 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. I'm Ben Olson. With me is Nathan Fox. We're the co-founders of LSATdemon.com and the LSAT Demon Daily podcast. First item on the agenda today is Cooley Law School, which has been on probation by the ABA because they haven't been able to, I don't know if they're responsible, but they're unable to reach a certain threshold when it comes to their bar passage rate.
Yeah, it's like which way's the wind blowing. Sometimes Cooley is on probation by the ABA. Sometimes Cooley is not on probation by the ABA. The headline that we saw today is the American Bar Association has placed Thomas M. Cooley Law School on probation because of its continued failure to meet the required minimum bar exam passage rate. ABA's standard 316 requires at least 75% of a school's graduates who sit for the bar to pass within 2 years of graduation. Cooley, which has campuses in... Did you realize this, Ben? That Cooley has campuses in Lansing, Michigan, and Tampa,
That's
Florida.
what I was wondering. I was thinking Lansing, Michigan, but it doesn't say Michigan, yet it does say Florida. So is there a Lansing, Florida? I wouldn't be shocked.
I always thought that it was a Michigan school with a campus in Tampa. I could be totally wrong about that.
There is a Lansing, Florida.
Oh, no. No, here it is. They have, if you look at their, so I clicked on this link to their bar admission ABA report.
Yeah.
And details 2024. They had 50 takers in Florida, 27 people passed. They had 45 takers in Michigan.
Yeah.
24 passed. So they have a 54% first time pass rate, I guess, in Florida. And by the way, we could dig in a little bit deeper, right? For 2024 in Florida, Cooley, 27 out of 50, 54%. The state pass rate, 72% for ABA approved law schools.
Yeah.
In Michigan, 45 took it, 24 passed, 53% pass rate. Michigan pass rate for ABA approved schools, 72%.
Yeah.
So they're 20% below in Florida. They're 20% below in Michigan, roughly. Oh, they also had people take it in 17 other jurisdictions. Maybe they did better there. Let's see. 35 people took
worse.
It. 16 people passed it for a 46% pass rate.
Ugh.
And in those jurisdictions, the state pass rate for ABA approved law schools was 79%. So they're 33% below in any other jurisdiction. So they suck in Florida, they suck in Michigan, and they suck even worse everywhere else. I mean, the question is, does the ABA ever actually take accreditation away from schools?
No, putting them on probation and not taking action after, how much time do you need? First of all, when your numbers drop below 75%, it's immediate, right? This should just be an easy calculation that you do every year. What was your percentage? And did that drop below 75%? And then what? Give them a year to remedy the problem?
Yeah. I mean, you can read this next...
Why
don't you read this next piece on the agenda?
Okay. So Cooley's president, James McGrath, will now have to appear in front of the council, that's the ABA council, in February to make a case for why it should keep its ABA accreditation. There shouldn't be a case to be made. It's you aren't out of compliance, but whatever. Losing that accreditation would mean that Cooley students would no longer be eligible for federal financial aid, and that their degrees would not be recognized by most employers and bar associations. But McGrath says he is 99% and change sure we'll be back in compliance. Really? Okay, well, let's look at your history here. You want to read these numbers?
Sure. Well, their first-time bar passage rate in 2022 was 36%. Their first time pass rate in 23 was 37%. Their first time bar pass rate in 24 was 51.5%. Their 2 year, I guess the thing that matters is their 2 year
That's the only
ultimate
thing that
bar
matters,
admission rate.
right? That's
Yeah,
yeah.
because
Okay.
the ABA standard 316 requires 75%.
Hmm.
There's such a simple solution. Make law schools give refunds if to people who don't pass the bar.
Yeah, I think the ABA is hesitating here, right? Because they're worried about the consequences that will befall those who are students at this university. But hey, like you said, they should just rewrite the rules so that the consequence falls on the university much more heavily. So
Right.
yeah, if you have any students who just graduated or who are graduating, you now have to refund all of their money, so they don't have
I
any
can just
student loan debt.
imagine the schools defending themselves, right? They would obviously cry poor. Oh, well, we can't do that because then our finances will be subject to the whims of the state bar, and the state bar examiners are too strict and it's just not fair. And it's like, okay, but look, these kids are coming to you borrowing $250,000 because they want to practice law. You're selling them this dream of practicing law. if you if you I mean, and if you're a school like Cooley, that your bar passage rate is low. It's always been low. It's always going to be
Hmm.
low. It's a fantasy
Yeah.
to think that you're going to somehow magically dig yourself out of this hole, and you just keep saying the same thing every year. Oh no, we're working on it. We're making all these changes. Okay, look, their 2 year ultimate bar admission rate. 2020, it was 61%. 2021, it was 56%. 2022, it's 57%. you know, it's like you're not within
So they're
shouting
they're
distance of
way
the
below.
75%.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's not
Yeah.
close. You're like a mile away from actually being in compliance. But, instead of the ABA just obviously doesn't have any teeth here at all. So instead of just
Why
like
don't they have
yanking,
teeth?
that's a great question. I don't know.
They have the rule behind them. It's hard to argue
They
with their compliance here.
sure seems like it.
Huh.
Why don't they
That's a
actually do
bummer.
anything? I don't know. I mean,
Yeah.
we could hypothesize that it's probably regulatory capture, right? It's probably that the people at the American Bar Association section on legal education
Mm.
are like people who work for schools like this.
They're like, oh yeah, I understand. It's been a rough couple years for the law school industry. This is to be expected. There are bumps in the road. Yeah, I mean, I suspect maybe their big hesitation is the consequences that will happen to the students. But you kind of got to bite the bullet, because if they had done this in 2020, then you wouldn't have all these years of students continuing to enroll and pay at Cooley.
There was a quote in this story. By the way, the story comes to us from mlive.com. It's a Michigan news website, apparently.
Okay.
And somebody named Matthew Miller is the one who wrote the story. But there's one, Matt called it out on the teacher Slack was kind of dunking on this yesterday, and Matt called it out. There's this one quote that didn't make it to our agenda, but there's this one quote in the middle of the story that says, this is I guess McGrath got interviewed for this story. You read McGrath says he's 99% and change sure we'll be back in compliance.
Yeah,
He
yeah.
says, I was called in to testify before the ABA Council in August, and we laid out the fact that, at the time, we were 7 graduates away from meeting the standard, and we were just waiting for the July 2025 bar results. I should comment here that 7 graduates away, remember how small the numbers are that we were talking about in the first place?
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah,
you got like 45 people who took it in Michigan.
yeah. Yeah.
7 out of 45, that's like close to 20%. And you're about 20% below the thing. So you're waiting for the results of 7 people. You're
Hmm.
just assuming that all 7 of those people passed, even though your overall bar passage rate is less than 50%. Sure. I mean, a good job, I guess. It's like a lawyer marshaling facts that could possibly
Yeah.
be construed
It
in
is
his
a
favor.
fact.
But
Yeah.
it's like there's a counter argument that you could make. Anyway, this is the quote that's amazing. Well, Cooley has had an improvement plan in place since 2020, he said. It's been working, albeit not as quickly as it might have. And then here's the real quote, okay?
Yeah.
In my mind, we're
In my
already in compliance, McGrath said. Quote, we just don't know which graduates have passed the bar.
What?
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, it seems like fantasy to me. It's like we've been doing this for a long time and you've been out of compliance the entire time.
Mm,
I mean, the only time we've ever heard anything about Cooley ever has been this kind of news.
yeah.
Anyway, I assume a year from now we'll have another update that, nothing has happened. And we'll continue to update you on the complete non news of
Listen to
Cooley
this
being
too.
in hot water. Yeah.
Yeah. One last thing is the article sort of touts these actions that President James McGrath has taken to remedy the situation, and they are one to close two campuses in Michigan, well, at least one in Auburn Hills and one in Grand Rapids. Raised admission standards, okay. Cut tuition, okay. And even took a stab at changing the school's name as a way of putting its tarnished reputation behind it. That's running away from your problem. That's not like fixing the problems. That's just like, let's hope.
He learned that from watching The Wire, Ben. I've just been recently rewatching the greatest television show of all time, which is The Wire.
Okay.
And
Okay.
in The Wire, it focuses, in the first two seasons at least, it focuses a lot on these drug dealers in
Mm,
Baltimore in the
hmm.
projects. And, they have varying quality of drugs that they're selling. And
Oh,
they
yeah.
sometimes have to cut it a lot, and the quality goes down.
Mm.
And there's like a scene where Stringer Bell is like basically lecturing the boys because he's like taking some classes at community college or whatever about business, and he's he's lecturing them about what you do when your product sucks. And the corner
You
boys are
rename
like,
it.
"Oh, we changed the name." Yeah, that's what you do. Yeah, you change the name to try to get out from under your horrible reputation. I mean, it says also in the story that Cooley used to be like this gigantic law school. They used to have
Mm.
4,000 students.
Wow. Whoa. Okay.
Well, not so much anymore.
No. And for good reason. If you're still there, I'm sorry. Don't
I
apply.
mean, boy, we should look at the ABA 509 for Cooley to, you don't really get the dirt until you look at the pricing.
Mm.
Let me see if I can find this 2024. I don't know why I ever go anywhere else besides just lsatdemon.com/scholarships to look for this kind of thing
Yeah.
because it's just a faster way of getting to these 509s. But anyway, sure. So they had 1,162 applications last year.
Mm.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
main campus is Lansing, Michigan, by the way.
Mm.
They offered admission to almost half of those people. Only 25% of the people they admitted actually said yes.
Okay.
Uh, so they're just desperate for applicants, and most people that they admit are like, no way. Even after they've applied to the school, they're still just like, nope, I got better offers, which makes total sense. Oh my God, Ben.
Mm-hmm.
50th percentile LSAT. You want to take a stab at it?
I have it here in front of me.
147 is the number
Yep.
there. 147, 50th percentile LSAT. I mean, wow, that's just like significantly below the national average for people who sit for the official test. I think the official
Mm.
test average is like 152. So that like the median student at this school is a sub median student for the nation as a whole. It's just not a good law school. I mean, it's actually a
Yeah.
bad law school. Median GPA of a 3.03.
Hmm.
It's just like their median student is bad at the LSAT, bad at school, like not serious about what they're trying to do. So
Yeah.
then unsurprising
Because
that the bar passage rates are so low.
yep.
financing. This is the really important part. They give discounts to 55% of their students.
Mm-hmm.
Looks like not a lot of huge discounts. Maybe as many as 14% people, 14% getting full, possibly.
Mm-hmm.
It says 12% half to full, but those could all be full tuition scholarships as far as we know.
Yeah. Yeah.
2% getting exactly full tuition scholarships.
Hmm. What are their fees? Let's see here. Fees $600. Interesting.
And what is the tuition? We think it's 30 times 1580. They've got it quoted here as per
Uh,
credit, which is quite annoying.
47,000.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just think about like the obfuscation that is made possible because of the way this ABA 509, the section on 1L tuition and fees,
Yeah.
the fact that you allow them to quote it however they want it. Oh, do you want to quote it by per annual? Do you want to quote it by per credit? You know, just
Yeah.
make it harder to figure out what the actual price is. But anyway, you're saying, Ben, it's like 37,000.
47. Yeah.
Oh, 47,000. Jeez.
Yeah.
Dear God.
Yeah. Because 15, yeah, times, well, it's almost 16 times 30, right? Yeah. 1,600.
You know, it seems really obvious to me that you force schools to give a refund to
Mm-hmm.
people who can't pass the bar. Nobody goes to law school with the intention of failing the bar.
No one promises that you will fail. They promise that you will get a job and get paid a lot of money.
Oh, I'd love to see Cooley's like marketing material. I'm sure they're
Mm,
like, well, the average salary for lawyers. I mean,
yeah.
we could go into like we could look at like job outcomes and stuff for Cooley, but I can just tell you what it is, right? It's going to be maybe one or two people go into big law, zero people go into federal clerkships. You can become a basic bar attorney at a school like this, but it's just not the type of place where you're going to have any prestige whatsoever. They're not going to have great connections to great jobs. And what I would say, looking at these bar passage stats, it seems obvious that the majority of people who go to Cooley are not going to successfully practice law. If your 2-year ultimate bar passage rate is not even 60%.
Yeah. Because bar passage is just a necessary condition. Doesn't
Well,
guarantee anything.
you also
But
have
if
to get a
you can't get
job
that,
and you
yeah.
have to keep a job, right? I mean, there's so many people who wash out after a year or two. Or, yeah, pass the bar, can't get a job. Pass the bar, do get a job, and then hate it or wash out. I mean, wow,
Hey, look,
brutal.
I'm on their
Okay.
homepage. This is how they're advertising themselves today. They have a video that's playing in the background constantly of people studying and enjoying themselves at law school.
Uh-huh.
The first the header is "This is Cooley," so they have embraced the name, and then you're gonna love this word. Ours is a story of transformation of people
Sure
and of
enough.
impact.
Yeah.
And
How
this
about you
is the
transform your own bar passage rate?
yeah. This is the promise they're going to make to people because they can't promise that you'll get a job. In a world that needs minds ready to navigate legal landscapes of tomorrow, or the legal landscapes of tomorrow, our students emerge from law school confident and future ready.
Huh?
That is debatable. How many of their students, after they fail the bar, are confident and future ready? I would, I would suspect a lot of them would disagree with that claim.
Ready for your future working at the Home Depot. I mean,
Yeah,
like, you're not
pounding sand.
pounding sand. Okay. I think we can confidently say that
We can
we don't
move
need to
on.
talk about Cooley
Yeah.
anymore. Yeah. This next one is
Well,
from,
the
it's
important
an
thing here is
email.
just don't apply. Yeah.
Yeah. Normally we say, you know, don't overpay or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
But here, I think it's quite clear you just don't even want to apply to a school like this. This is it just seems like a sinking ship. What's the point?
Yeah.
If that's the best full ride you could get, just don't even go to law school. What are you doing?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Why would you want to go be? Why would you want to go suffer alongside all these other folks who are, half of them are going to not pass the bar? What's the point of that? Um, what if you live in Lansing, Michigan?
Come move.
What if you have kids in school in Lansing, Michigan? You own a home and you're divorced.
So you're
So
locked in.
you're
Yeah.
like locked into Lansing, Michigan.
I don't know.
In that case,
Something
I would
other
give you
than law.
permission to apply. I would give you permission to apply if you were dead set on law school, but you cannot pay them money. You can't. You have to get
Yeah, that's
one of
what
their
I'm
full
afraid
ride
of.
scholarships.
You're gonna get like a 75% scholarship and think that's a good deal. But no
Right. You're going to
money
end up
or
paying
really time. Yeah.
$14,000 a year and 3 years of your life for just completely mid. I mean, not even mid. What's below mid?
Backwards.
Sub?
You're going
Yeah.
backwards.
Yeah. Bad times. Okay. Well, good luck to them. I'm sure the ABA won't do anything, and we'll be talking about them again 2 years from now when they get, the little slap on the wrist again.
Yeah.
Um, Next one up. Hey, we're Michigan heavy today. Email
Yep.
from Demon student Sam. The subject is Michigan just trying to scare me?
Hmm. All right, I'll read it. It says, "Hey Ben, Nathan, and Josh, found this little nugget of on U of Michigan's website." And okay, now we're going to quote University of Michigan's website. "The LSAC report for an applicant who has sat for the LSAT more than once will show every score or cancellation, as well as the average score. The ABA
Facts.
requires law schools." Okay, yeah. True. "The ABA requires law schools to report score information based on admitted students and admitted students' highest score. And therefore, that is the score to which we give the most weight. We
Also
do,
facts.
however, and by the
Yeah, I
way, by
mean
most, they
that's
mean all."
yeah. Well, they go on to attempt to hedge that here, and that this is where
Okay.
we I think that we might get out of the realm of facts and into the realm of something else here. So let's see.
Okay. Okay. "We do, however, consider the average score as well, because data provided by the Law School Admissions Council." Wait, is it Law School Admissions Council or Law School Admission Council? Doesn't matter,
I
but
don't
I'm
know.
curious. "Suggests that it has the greatest predictive utility. The average
The
score
average
becomes,
does.
yeah, the average score becomes less useful, though, as the disparity between two scores increases. For that reason, if you have a significant disparity between scores, 6 or more points, it would be very helpful to address any explanation for the difference in an optional essay or addendum." Now, okay, we have their last sentence that's being quoted here, and it's all in bold. "Finally," I don't know if did Sam do this bolding or if they did, but
I don't know.
"finally, sitting for the test 3 or more times tends to raise questions in the minds of the reviewers, semicolon. For that reason, we suggest including an explanation of the underlying circumstances." Okay, wordy, long, and repetitive. They just want you to divulge why your score went up, hoping that you maybe tell them that you got accommodations,
Yeah.
or just something else.
Yeah. We've heard Dean Z talk about, and I found this actually instructive from Dean Z's podcast. She said, this is the dean of University of Michigan Law School. She, she, or wait, the dean, a dean, dean of admissions, anyway, at University
Hmm.
of Michigan.
Hmm.
And she said that they use LSAT and GPA for two purposes. One is because of how it impacts the reputation of their school. Two is to figure out whether you've got the chops to actually thrive at a school like that. Michigan is a good school. Michigan's a real law school. Um, so I think that she's telling the truth here that ABA requires law schools to report information on an admitted student's highest score. Therefore, we give that the most weight because that's our reputation, right?
Mm-hmm.
So ultimately, if your highest score on record is a 175, we get to report you to the ABA and to the world as a 175, and that is where we're going to put the most weight. So make no mistake, if you can do better, you should always take it again because they give their most weight to the highest score. It says it right there on the page. They give their most weight to the highest score,
Yep.
right? And that's because of their reputation.
Yeah.
That's what they report to the world. They don't report your average to the world. They don't report your lowest score to the world. They don't report how many times you took it to the world. They report the highest score to the world on the ABA reports. And that's what US News uses. So that's the important one. And when she says we give the most weight, Ben says, well, actually, it's all. And I'd say it's closer to all than it is to 50-50.
Sure. It could be 98 because they are worried about your success as a
Yeah.
student at the school.
And she did say in this same video that the other reason why they use LSAT and GPA is because it predicts like how successful you're going to be at their school. And to that end, I can see how if they see multiple scores on your record, they might pay some attention to it. But the part that they're not saying here at all is that, they're not allowed to see whether you got accommodations. And sometimes people score 160, 160, 160, get accommodations 170. I think they still probably don't really care because they report you as a 170 to the world, and that's always the score to which they are going to give the most weight. But if you were on the bubble with that 170, and they look at your record and they see an average, oh, well, actually, the average here is only like 162. And they invite you to write an optional essay in which you can then explain what happened.
Mm-hmm.
And if you happen to say, oh, well, I have this undocumented, it was undocumented, blah, 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 whatever, I got accommodations the fourth time I took the test. I'm not saying they'll discriminate against you because you got accommodations, but that door becomes open because that optional essay exists.
Yeah. Well, I was trying to think about why people are so motivated to divulge that information. And I think it's because they're trying to explain away their low score,
Right,
not realizing that they're actually undermining their high score.
right, right.
They're like,
Yeah,
it was so low before
right.
because I needed and deserved accommodations, and that wasn't accounted for. But now everything's taken care of. We're all good. So look to my highest score. Don't worry about those
Yeah,
lower scores. But it has the opposite of that intended
yeah.
effect.
And we're in this just enormously fucked up system where it's now easy to get accommodations on the LSAT. Law schools will also accommodate you because they don't want to be sued. But the state bar is going to be a hell of a lot stickier about those accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
So you could get time and a half, double time on the LSAT, get whatever accommodations once you're in law school. Then you apply to take your state bar, and the state bar's like, no. So just be careful what kind of a situation you're getting yourself into if you do go out and get those accommodations. We get hate mail every time we talk about accommodations. And I'm not saying that there shouldn't be any accommodations. I'm just saying be careful what you're getting yourself into because the worst possible outcome for you is fail the bar ultimately.
Yeah, totally. Sam continues, as a good little demon disciple, I'm planning on maxing out the number of attempts. But now I'm wondering if that's a good idea or if Michigan just wants me to pay more in tuition by discouraging my number of attempts and therefore lowering the odds that one of those scores breaks the 171 median at Michigan, and therefore lowering the likelihood that they have to give me a discount. What do you guys think? Is this just admissions office mind games, or will multiple LSATs on file actually lower my chances of admission/scholarship? Not if your subsequent attempts are going up. There is absolutely no doubt about that. Your average is also going up.
Well, that's the thing is that anybody actually making the decision, it's always like, hey, I have X score on record, but I have X
Mm-hmm.
plus 8 points on my practice tests.
Mm-hmm.
Should I take it again? I'm worried because they say that if you take it multiple times, they might look askance. They might raise an eyebrow.
Mm-hmm.
I don't want them to do that. I don't want them to give me the side eye because of my multiple attempts. And it's like, well, look, at score X, they're not even looking at you. At score X
Yeah.
plus 8, which you have demonstrated the ability to do on your practice tests, at X plus 8, not only are they going to be looking at you, but they're going to be like probably offering you money to go to their school. So,
Yeah.
yes, you should
Yeah.
take it again. If you can score higher, you should take it again. I mean, it's literally better to have 150, 150, 150, 170 than it is to have a single
168.
160. Yeah, I mean, like
Yeah.
they told you at the beginning, they give their highest weight to your highest score. And we
Mm-hmm.
think they give significantly highest weight to that highest score.
Yeah.
If they ask you to write one of these optional essays are optional, and you could always just not respond. If you are going to
Mm-hmm.
respond, please don't share information that hurts you, like I was accommodated. Maybe in a
Yeah. Or I
perfect world,
wasn't
that
ready.
information wouldn't hurt you. Yeah, all right. Or I was
Yeah.
unprepared the first 3 times I took it. Okay, that's not a point in your favor. If you have to write it, if it's a mandatory thing, just say, I knew I could do better. My practice test indicated I could do better, so I took it again.
Yep.
That's it. What more do they need to know? You took it again, you did score higher. You know, the the one slight caveat to this is don't exhaust all 5 of your attempts just to exhaust all 5 of your attempts. Like, if you've already scored near the top of your range on your practice tests, then I would say don't keep taking the test. Like, why would you take it a fourth or fifth time if you've already scored, at the top of your practice test range? Well, you could
No,
keep
you need to bring
prepping.
your
You
practice
could
test up.
exactly.
Yeah.
You could move your whole range up if you practice more and you get some higher practice test scores on record. Then I would authorize you to take it a fourth or fifth time if you already have a high score on record. But
Yeah.
that's just not the
Yeah.
decision that most people are ever making. Most people are like, well, I know I can do better, but I'm worried that if I take it
Mm-hmm.
again, they're gonna give me the side eye.
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
I, I think Sam's on the right track here when he says, you know, are they doing mind games? Are they worried that if I take it again and get a higher score, they'll realize that they have to discount for me because they discount for 80% of students in the United States? There is something to it. Unfortunately, we've heard pre-law advisors and admissions office folk giving advice to students that is just not in line with the student's best interests.
Mm-hmm.
And, it's because look at their incentives. Their incentives are if you apply, it's always good for them. It doesn't matter what your scores are. Nothing matters at all except for you applied. Because now the ball's
Mm-hmm.
in their court. They can either just deny you, which is good for them because it makes the school look more prestigious, or they can admit you with mediocre stats and try to charge you full price. Or if you have a score that's actually in the running, they can still admit you and see if you're willing to pay more than you should. Or if your number is definitely above their medians and they realize, oh boy, okay, we have to discount here, then they can make you an offer. It's only ever going to be in their favor, though, right? They're only making you an offer because they're like, oh, well, this raises the prestige of our school.
Mm-hmm.
So if you look carefully, their advice is always oriented toward, we really just want you to apply right now. Show me one piece of advice out of any admissions office ever that's actually oriented toward something other than get the student to apply as soon as possible.
Yeah. That's their goal. I mean, why would a car salesperson ever try to help you get a better deal?
Yeah. Have you gone across the
Unless,
street yet? Did
yeah,
you go over to the
you just
Volkswagen
talked to
dealership?
us. Yeah, that's not smart, man. You should look and see what's out there. See what's available on the internet first. Then come by.
CarMax has some lightly used cars. I saw one on the lot yesterday. It was a real great deal on a really similar car. You should go check them out
Yeah.
first.
Hmm.
No.
You need to do more
Did you
prep.
comparison
No.
shop? Did you go on Kelly Blue Book website and get some information about this car? Consumer reports? Have you looked at all that? No, they're just like, you ready to take a test drive? What's it take to get you in this car today?
Yeah.
All right.
Sam concludes that he has a cancellation on record. He's a non traditional applicant, at least according to Sam, with 10 years of executive experience in marketing with an MBA. He gives us two GPAs, 3.7 undergrad and a 3.8 graduate GPA. The graduate GPA doesn't matter. What matters is that undergrad GPA. The 10 years of experience is a good thing. Shows you know how to get a job and can work, but it's just like many other softs.
I mean, just the truth is, Sam, and you know this, your 3.7 UGPA is low for Michigan. It's like
Yeah.
really low for Michigan. So, yes, you do need a higher than 171 LSAT in order to become a credible candidate at a school like Michigan. You also should definitely be applying broadly, apply to lots of competitor schools. I'm thinking about WashU in St. Louis, obviously. You should be applying to like University of Minnesota, for example. You should be applying to lots of schools that are like top 20, top 30 types of schools if you're going to apply to a school like Michigan, because you need to see what price comparable schools are going to charge you.
Mm-hmm.
Michigan's going to play up the top 14 thing and the prestige of their school. And they're also not going to be super excited about you because of your 3.7. Dean Z is
You're
like, well, why would I
bringing down
lower?
that number. Yeah.
Yeah, why would I lower my median GPA? Well, if you raise her median LSAT, that goes a long way.
Mm-hmm.
But like, are you really going to pay? Like, I don't know. This is the type of applicant that could potentially get the full ride at Minnesota. And I would at least want Sam to have those offers on the table so that he could look at them
Mm-hmm.
and
Totally.
then make a smart decision about where you're going to actually go. Okay.
Sam, keep us posted. This next item is coming from Reddit, the subreddit outside T14's law schools. Interesting
Yep.
subreddit name. The title is I'm going to law school, and that's a lot of O's, and then first acceptance.
My very first admission came in today from the University of Hawaii. I was awarded a fairly hefty scholarship, which really surprised me when I read that because University of Hawaii is one of the schools that's not known for giving tons of scholarships. But the
Hmm.
rest of this email or the rest of this post makes it make a little bit more sense. Listen to this. I was awarded a fairly hefty scholarship and my admission decision seemed very fast. Well, yeah, of course, because as we report this, it's only September 30th.
Mm-hmm.
This is an applicant who followed our advice. I mean, I hope that they're listening to us. Maybe they're not. Maybe they just somehow magically knew that they should apply in early September.
Yep.
They applied in early September and they've already got a full ride offer on the table from University of Hawaii before September is out. This is what makes it make sense to me that they got the full ride at Hawaii.
Wait,
My
where are you
dad.
saying that they got a full ride?
Oh, sorry. I when I see fairly hefty scholarship, I think that means full ride.
This is the
You're
problem, though,
right.
right? Because a lot of people think
You're right.
15 grand is fairly hefty.
You're right. You're right. I'll stop saying full ride. Fairly hefty
Okay.
scholarship
Yeah, yeah.
to the University of Hawaii. Uh, but this is what makes that maybe make sense. My dad is from Oahu. My grandma is buried in Honolulu. Uh, I believe that, especially on the Hawaiian Islands, they are really interested in Hawaiian culture, people that have roots there. I don't think they're giving scholarships to attract people from, like, they're not interested in giving scholarships to like snowbirds.
Mm,
I think that they're
sure.
much more interested in like actually supporting Hawaiians.
Yeah.
Anyway, this person from outside T14 law schools on Reddit says, I am so excited. Hawaii is in my top three, and I am so grateful. This is the first report that we've heard of schools out there giving admissions and scholarships and whatnot, but
Yeah.
it happens every year, and it happens at different schools every year. So this reinforces our advice. If you're mad about the fact that we keep telling everybody apply in September or not at all,
Mm,
we're never going to stop saying that because every year there's different schools that are out there fishing early in the cycle.
yeah.
So if you want to position yourself for the best offers, you need to apply early, broadly, with your best LSAT, and then just see what happens. And because it's so funny, right, Ben? We've got people who think that they're right on track for applying for this same cycle that this person is in. They haven't even
Mm-hmm.
finished their LSAT yet. And
Mm-hmm.
they're, no, I'm going to law school starting in 2026. What are you talking about? The deadlines aren't until April. Yeah,
Yeah.
true. True that the deadlines aren't until April. But if they've already started
Yeah.
giving out seats and they've already started giving out scholarships, all you have to do is wait a year. You could be like this person and have offers a year from now,
Mm-hmm.
but they can't. They think they have to start school a year from now.
Yeah.
And it just, I don't know. I think it indicates a lack of seriousness to me. It indicates a lack of patience, lack of seriousness, maybe naivete. Like you just don't know what you're getting yourself into. If you think you have to go this cycle, I question whether you should go at all.
Yeah. Fair
Did you
enough.
look up Hawaii?
I did. They're ranked 99th. Two people
Right.
there got a stipend, so more than full
Wow. Okay.
tuition plus
Hmm.
fees. No one got full tuition, but some people, let's look at the numbers actually. 14% got more than half. So potentially they got up to full, but just not the fees or something like that. There's
Yeah.
$800 in fees at this university.
Yeah.
Most people got less than half. 63% less than half. 22% got nothing. So this is a school that's not giving out a lot of scholarships. Hopefully that hefty scholarship is actually hefty.
What's the
That's my only
tuition?
concern. 46,000. Surprise, surprise. It's the magic number.
And what's their 75th percentile scholarship?
Their 75th percentile scholarship, let me pull up in the 509 here, is $10,000. 11,000 for full time.
That's their 75th percentile?
Apparently.
Wow. Yeah. So,
Wait, hold on. So we're reporting, okay, a couple things. One, on the scholarship estimator, we're reporting non-resident tuition, which is
mm,
46,000 plus fees,
mm-hmm,
getting us to
mm-hmm,
47,000.
mm-hmm,
Resident tuition is much closer to 23 and a half, 24,000.
mm-hmm, mm-hmm. And
Still, 75th
I would
percentile.
imagine
Yeah,
their school has to be super heavily weighted toward Hawaiian natives, people who actually live in Hawaii. Uh,
sure.
because, look, it's a school that's ranked roughly 100th in the country. So this is not the type of school that you go to if you're trying to break into big law, right? It's also
Mm-hmm,
wildly
mm-hmm.
remote. I mean, I don't know if people realize this, but the Hawaiian Islands are like the most remote place on the face of the earth. It's like farther from everywhere else.
Mm-hmm.
Hawaiian Islands are farther from every other, by some measures anyway. The Hawaiian Islands are farther
Yeah,
away from anywhere else than anywhere else on the planet. Okay, so it's like it's super far, right? It's just like take off from LA and fly
yeah,
5 hours straight into the middle of the ocean. So
yeah.
it's nowhere.
Hope your plane stays together. Okay, yeah.
It's also it's quite rural. I mean, Honolulu is a reasonably big city, but the Hawaiian Islands generally are like you're in the country. Okay, when you're in Hawaii,
Mm-hmm.
you're in the country, and so big city folk, especially people who want to work in big law, also the bulk of the U.S. population is in the East Coast anyway. So it's even farther for people.
Yeah.
Like Ben's never been to Hawaii, so it's like
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
I'm a California person, so I've been to Hawaii. It's closer for us, but it's a lot farther for people on the Eastern Seaboard. It's just
Mm-hmm.
nowhere. Um,
Mm-hmm.
That said, it's quite an attractive place. I mean, like on that campus, it's just nothing but people riding around on their little motor scooters with their
Yeah.
surfboard attached to their scooter. You see this literally on campus. You
Yeah.
just see hordes of people. They're like in class and then they're jumping on their scooter and they're scootering down to the beach to go actually surfing. It's like a cartoon
Yeah.
of what people think California is. That's what Hawaii
Mm-hmm.
actually is. It's just like no, it really
Mm-hmm.
is just the beach. And so it's a cool place. I mean, it's a great place. It would be a great place to spend 3 years. But
Mm-hmm.
what kind of career are you going to build yourself in New York City after going to the University of Hawaii Law School?
Yeah.
That's going to be tough. I mean, not to say you can't do it. I'm sure that the people who finish at the very top of that school every year can absolutely go break into big law.
Mm-hmm.
But there's probably not a lot of it going on in Honolulu, honestly.
I am curious. I'm looking at the University of Hawaii ABA report for graduates. Zero, zero graduates from 2024 go into a firm 101 attorneys or larger.
Wow. Okay. Yeah. So I mean, there's probably a path there via smaller law or criminal law and then go, promote yourself to a big firm. But the big firms just aren't really in Honolulu. And if they're
No.
not in Honolulu, they're not in the Hawaiian Islands. And if they're not in the Hawaiian Islands, then, well, it's a 5 hour flight to San Francisco or LA or Seattle or whatever. And
Wow. Yeah,
yeah.
17% go into government. Another 23 on top of that go into local clerkships like state, local, and territorial.
Sure.
Another 6% go into federal clerkships. So they're basically taking these jobs that are on the island, right? Government jobs.
Yeah.
And then 3 end up in Virginia. So somehow they came over to my lovely state. But yeah,
Those sound
interesting.
like
Not big law.
government, right? I mean, well, there's,
That's more
because,
government, yeah.
well, there are U.S. senators and representatives from the state of Hawaii,
Mhm.
right?
Mhm.
So I'm sure that you can, if that's the kind of thing you want to do, is like get government jobs and potentially go to D.C. Sure, I'm sure there's a route there.
Yeah.
You'd have to be quite successful at that school to begin with, to get those kinds of connections. Or I suppose really, really good at politicking.
Wow. So more than 50% of the graduates, more than 50, like close to 60% go into government, public interest, state or federal clerkships.
Hmm. Yeah,
That's
makes
where they're
sense. I mean,
going.
well, there's a huge military presence on the
Yeah.
island of Oahu, right?
Mhm.
Pearl
Mhm.
is there, and so
Yeah.
there's just it's a major United States military base.
Yeah.
Um, they do have 2 U.S. senators, even though it's a tiny, tiny little state.
Yeah.
you know, and they have all of the state and local government still, of
Mhm.
course, right, on
Yeah.
the island. So there are jobs there, but boy, for if I was like trying to advise, I can imagine a 20-year-old who's a junior or senior in college listening to this and going, "Oh wow, yeah, I never thought about that. I'll go to law school in Hawaii. That's awesome." Just
Yeah.
like law school is not a vacation, and if you treat that, if you think, "Oh yeah, I'll just go there, surf for 3 years, also get my JD." Yeah, okay, fine, but the odds of like there's not a very convenient path from there to the fancy lawyer job that you think you might want.
Yeah.
It's more like, do you want a pickup truck and a surfboard and wear flip-flops? And like if you wanted to move to Hawaii, okay, fine. Anything more about
That's
this?
the path. No. No, let's jump
There
into
was
these announcements. We
hey, can I
yeah, go
just
ahead.
hijack and make one more this same thread
Hmm.
sorry, this same Reddit forum outside T14 law schools.
Yeah. T14s. Yeah.
It's not outside T14s. That's a typo. It's outside
Oh,
T14
that's
law
a
schools.
typo. Great. Okay.
Yeah,
Thank
that's
you.
our typo. Anyway, from outside T14 law schools community on Reddit, there was a thread that Demon team member Brandon highlighted yesterday that had a poster saying, I just received my LSAT September score and I got a 173. I'm a K through JD and my GPA is around a 4.2, but my extracurriculars are pretty weak and I'm not a URM. What law schools should I apply to that would likely give me a full ride? I have no interest in big law, but I'm potentially interested in a federal clerkship and doing PI work. My preferred region is the East Coast, North or South, but I'm open to anywhere. And people were chiming in. But then there was a quote. Then all of a sudden there's a post. Hi there. I'm Merritt McAllister, the interim dean at University of Florida Law. Would love for you to think about us. Historically, folks with your credentials have had strong scholarship packages, and half of our students graduate without debt. Although many stay in Florida and take top opportunities in an economically strong state with a great cost of living, folks are landing jobs in all sorts of fields all across the country. We just had 4 folks start in Colorado, for example. And New York, DC, Atlanta are strong secondary markets. Plus, it's a pretty fun place to be in school with a great positive community and lots of student support and engagement. Anyway,
Okay. So they're out hustling.
Brandon and the team thought it was amusing to see
Yeah.
a dean actually just chiming in on Reddit going like, "Hey, you're fishing for scholarships?" And I mean, the funny thing is, man, 173 and a 4.2.
Wow.
Why would
Yeah.
University of Florida be soliciting this applicant? Well, because that applicant is wildly overqualified for a school like that.
Yeah, they
And,
would dramatically increase their numbers. I mean, I guess
yeah,
I was trying to think of they're just hoping that well, the applicant sounds naive, right? Like you have such great numbers yet you're like still trying to figure out where to apply. The school is probably like, "Okay, let's see if we can get that person before they really see what they're worth."
yeah, I would think that University of Florida is probably beneath an applicant like this, right? I mean,
Mm,
I'm not slagging off University of Florida. I'm just saying that if you apply broadly with a 4.2 and a 173, you're probably going to get full ride offers from better schools than University of Florida. But,
nice.
good on this dean, right? Because you miss 100% of the shots you don't take. So this dean is just like, hey,
Yeah, and
how
everyone
about
else who sees
throw in
that
an app
post,
over here?
right? So,
True.
yep.
Right. It's advertising for
Yeah.
everyone else, including, hey, got him on the podcast, right? All
Yeah.
Hi there, Josh here with a quick producer edit. There have been some updates to our announcements between recording and publication time, and we wanted to make sure that you get the most up-to-date information. First, make sure to come join us at the LSAC Law School Forum in New York, Friday, October 17th from 12 p.m. to 6 p.m. Eastern, and Saturday, October 18th from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Eastern at the New York Hilton Midtown. The first 200 people each day will get a free copy of The LSAT is Easy and can spin the wheel to win additional merch. Registration for the New York Law School Forum is at lsac.org/law school forums. Second announcement, our team will also be at the DC Law School Fair at GW on Monday, October 13th. The fair is scheduled for 4 to 7 p.m. Eastern, with panels from 7 to 9 p.m. Eastern. Students can register at dclawschoolfair.gwu.edu. We'll be giving free copies of the LSAT is Easy to the first 250 students who visit our booth.
We also have a free help desk session coming up on Tuesday, October 7th at 9 p.m. Eastern. This is open to everyone. All you need is a Demon free account. The point of a help desk session is to tell you something about the Demon, a feature, how it works. In this particular one, they're going to be covering the score converter. And of course, once that is discussed and you understand how to use that and how it might help you, you can ask whatever questions you want. So if you're confused about some feature of the daemon, you can get help there.
Yep.
Cool.
Our next free LSAT class after that is Marathon Mindset with Kaylee. That's Thursday, October 16th at 5:30 p.m. Eastern. You can register for both of those at lsatdemon.com/free. Also, if you just register for lsatdemon.com/free, just get your free account. There's tons of stuff that you can start using right away. And you'll also get all of our invites to all of our free classes.
Yeah, you get emails. So you don't even need to remember all this stuff. Last thing we wanted to note is that we have added live classes to our Crushing 1L course. So if you have a Demon paid account that's basic, premium, or live, you can start attending 1L adjacent classes and learn what you're going to learn in law school. Just a bonus.
That's an extremely valuable bonus feature for people who are currently subscribed at any level to the Demon. Bunch of really smart actual attorneys who are teaching those classes. And you're the kind of being hosted and guided, I guess, by Abi and Amina, who host the Crushing 1L podcast. They are each 1Ls on opposite ends of the country. Amina's at UCLA and Abi's at Penn. And so they are currently 1Ls, and they'll talk you through their experience as we go. The substantive courses are going to be taught by actual practicing lawyers who know their shit and who killed it in law school. So yeah, check out Crushing 1L. Is that a separate tab yet on the Demon?
It should be. Let me just check right now. Yeah, it is.
Okay.
Yeah, you just go over to the menu on the left and go to the bottom. It says Crushing 1L.
Cool.
You can start drilling stuff there too and just start getting familiar with law school concepts and strategies. Let's jump into this email from Demon user Jack. The subject is retaking a 173 for scholarships. Do you want to read it?
Sounds like a great idea. You know, I can tell you my shortcut to my advice is if your practice tests indicate you can do better, you should definitely take it again. But let's see what Jack has to say. I recently scored a 173 on my third attempt, which is at the high end of my PT range. I have a 3.89 GPA. That's final. That's graduated. 3.89 GPA. And I'm aiming for a T14, preferably a T10, with hopes of a close to full ride. I mean, 3.89 and a 173 is not blowing the doors off of top 10 schools.
No, you're definitely a contender, but they're
in the ballpark.
Full ride. That's the hard part. Yeah.
But yeah, why would they give you a full ride if I mean, I can just tell you easily you're lowering their median GPA at most top 10 schools. So, right. Anyway.
Yeah.
Jack says, I've never PT'd in the mid to high 170s, but I could study 1 to 2 hours per day until the November test. I'd take it only if my PT scores consistently reflect my goal. I'd continue to work on my application materials, which I won't have ready until early November anyways. We're going to have to give Jack some real talk, huh? Jack says,
yeah.
Jack says, is this a waste of time for a potential 1 to 3 point increase for scholarships? Will a retake negatively impact admission to schools like Duke, which I would be thrilled to go to, since I'm already at or above both medians? Y'all rock. Thank you, Jack. Wait a second. He's at or above both medians at Duke? Really?
Let's go back here. Duke. 170 and 3.89. So he's at the median.
Okay. I'm surprised. I mean, those numbers for a school like Duke, which is ranked 6th in the country currently, those numbers seem a little low to me. 170 LSAT and a 3.89. I mean, yeah. You know, in that case, I don't really think a higher LSAT is helping you at Duke specifically because you're already above their median.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that their GPA is that low. I know that sounds ridiculous because 3.89 is not like objectively low. But when you compare it to other T14s, we normally
Mm-hmm.
see numbers higher than that. I just clicked on Penn, 3.93. That's the
Mm-hmm.
school ranked immediately above Duke. We could look at Harvard, which is in a tie apparently for Duke, according to US News. Harvard GPA 3.95 and a 174. So, yeah,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know, man. It seems like Jack is kind of cherry picking Duke here
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
and saying, like, oh, well, I'm at or above their numbers. Yeah, okay, at that school. But you got to think about the schools that they compete with. Surely Duke cares what's going on at Penn, and surely Duke cares what's going on at Harvard.
Mm-hmm.
And, they're going to look at you and they're going to go, well, let's see, you're below the medians for Penn, you're below the medians for Harvard. Then why would they give you a scholarship? Why would they
You're,
discount?
yeah. Hmm.
How much
Yeah.
discounting does Duke do?
There's the challenge. I
Oh,
don't
go
know.
ahead.
Good question.
Well, not that much. I mean,
Well, there's
full
very
tuition,
little.
1%,
Yeah.
more than half to 25%. So 26% getting somewhere between 50% to 100% off.
Mm-hmm.
They give scammerships to everybody else pretty much. There's only 6% paying full price, but 68% getting some kind of a nominal discount off of their, by the way, $77,000 tuition.
Jesus. Yeah, that's crazy.
Yeah, yeah, man. That's crazy. And that's especially because it's in the South,
Wait. Yeah.
It's like a cheap
Well,
part
and
of the
check this out.
world,
They're 75th
and they're
percent. Yeah.
charging unbelievably high tuition. Go ahead.
Hmm. Their 75th percentile grant amount is 38,000.
Right. Yeah, they're giving a ton of scammerships. They don't do a lot of discounting at a school like
They
Duke.
don't
So
do a lot of skit. Yeah.
it's like, dude, you cherry picked the one school that you have at or above medians for, but also that school doesn't do a lot of discounting. So yeah, I think you're kind of in fantasy land thinking that you're going to get a full ride in the top 10 with numbers like that. Hate to break it to you, but I don't see that happening. What do you
Mm-hmm.
think, Ben?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I agree. I think you need more options. I mean, Vanderbilt, apparently, the estimator is saying you're going to get a stipend there or could get a stipend there, which is exciting, but that's ranked 14th. If you want to have more options in the T10s, then you got to take it again and you got to prep because if 173 is near the high end of your practice test range, bring those practice test scores up, take it again, and then apply next cycle. Like
Yeah, and that's
you're going to
where
be one of those people who emails us next year and says, "Thank you. I waited. I didn't want to wait, but I waited, and I'm so glad that I waited because no, I'm not going to Duke now. I'm going to one of these other schools and I'm getting even more money."
yeah, but you can't just retake it in November and hope that that's going to be a
Go
magical
up. Yeah.
like he says I could study an hour or two a day.
Mhm.
Um it's not a waste of time, Jack. Like lawyers don't worry about wasting time. Lawyers just flip it entirely. Is there
Mhm.
work that I could do to help my case? If there's
Yeah.
work that you could do to help your case, then it's not a waste of time.
Mhm.
So I do think that there's work here that could be done to help your case if you're serious about going to the top 10, if you're serious about getting a scholarship in the top 10, then you really should
Mhm.
be scoring in the high 170s. People do score in the high
Yeah.
170s. I think it's just a matter of you haven't worked enough yet. So there's work that could be
Mhm.
done. My concern is you're going to just put so much pressure on this November test with the intention of
Mhm.
applying this cycle. You're working on your application materials now. You're already late in our book. Some schools have already
Yeah.
been out there fishing for giving scholarships. Maybe not the schools in the top 10 because they don't need to, But who knows what
Mm-hmm.
kinds of offers we'll see in the next month. And, Jack's
Yeah.
talking about applying a month after that. So I've just, Ben already said this, but if I were you, I would plan on taking the LSAT 2 more times, not just 1 more time, but 2 more times.
Mm-hmm.
And I would plan on applying next September. That
Yeah.
way you get to prep as hard as you want for as long as you want. Wait till your PTs are in the high 170s consistently. Retake it next spring. Get a 177. And I know that's only a 4 point difference, but boy, a 177 and a 3.89 is definitely a different applicant than a 173 and a 3.89. And 173 is not even the 99th percentile anymore. And these
Mm-hmm.
are 99th percentile law schools. So I don't know, like you could also, if you could also let go of this idea of really getting a great offer at a great school and apply to the Vanderbilts of the world. And I'm sure you could get it's a fine school and you could probably get a full ride and that'd be great. But sounds like Jack has higher aspirations and he just hasn't put the work in yet to really make it happen for himself.
Keep us posted, Jack. We hope you delay. This next one is about the University of Georgia allowing SAT and ACT scores in place of the LSAT. Get out of here.
I don't want to spend
That's
too
crazy.
much time on this. Well, this
Yeah.
is just another one of these fucking scams, Ben.
Yeah.
They send out these press releases and places like the National Jurist, publish these press releases. And it's like,
Yeah.
hey, look at this. This is great news. Well, okay, look, the truth is you have to be a student at their school.
Mm-hmm.
It's a select pathway for admission, UGA scholars. It's open exclusively to applicants who have received or will receive their undergraduate degree from the University of Georgia. And you can see where this is going. They know what your SAT or ACT was. You have to have scored 85th percentile or higher on SAT or ACT at the time the test was administered. If you don't have an LSAT or a GRE, in fact, I would be willing to bet that you're not allowed to have an LSAT or a GP or a GRE. Remember,
Yeah.
we've seen restrictions like that in similar programs.
Yep.
And the reason is they want to guarantee that you're only applying to their school.
They also want to guarantee that you're going to improve their numbers and you're not going to hurt them with a non-existent LSAT.
Right. Well, you can't apply anywhere else if you don't have an LSAT or a GRE. And they're going to know that you can cut it because, sure, University of Georgia is a fine school. They'll look at your transcripts from University of Georgia, which they know about University of Georgia. So they'll know that you can cut it at University of Georgia Law School. And then you get to the real kicker here at the bottom.
This is
Admitted
bad.
students will automatically qualify for a $5,000 merit scholarship.
Wow.
And that sounds good to people who are completely
What's the cost
naive.
of Georgia?
Yeah, I'm looking it up. I'm loading the 509 report here.
Oh, wow. Okay, so Georgia's ranked 22nd?
Yeah, it's
and
not a bad
give
law school.
Stipends? They give stipends to 19%. So 1 in 5 of the students there are getting paid to go. They're not just getting their tuition and fees covers. They are getting money. Wow.
Yeah, that's 19%
That's
who are getting more than tuition and fees. There's another 15% who are getting exactly full tuition. There's another 21% on top of that who are getting somewhere between half and full tuition. You add all that up and you get 55% of the class who's getting more than a 50% discount. And that is context that is just not found in any story about these kinds of programs, right? The National Jurist is going to just like parrot whatever the dumb press release is that UGA sent out. And UGA is going to pretend as if this is a benefit to their undergrads, but it's actually just
Yeah.
poaching. It's a disservice to the students
Wow.
who actually use this program. Because if they took the
Hmm.
LSAT, if you can kill the SAT or the ACT, then you can also kill the LSAT. You might have to do some prep, right? You do a little bit of work to save yourself hundreds of thousands of dollars. And instead, they're like, oh, don't worry about it. Only apply to our school so that we can have 100% yield on applicants through this process. And by the way, we'll guarantee you a $5,000 merit scholarship, which if you applied through the normal program, you'd get a $50,000 merit scholarship.
Yeah. I'm just shaking my head because I'm thinking about all the undergraduates at the University of Georgia who see their university as a protector, their
Oh, the parents?
guide to the future, the loyalty that they have towards this university, which is in fact just milking them for more money and doing them a huge, huge disservice.
Yeah, I'm sure the parents see this as, you're sending your kid off to University of Georgia because, yeah, they're going to take care of your kid. And they would see a program like this as if it's doing your kid a continued favor. Oh, great. You're
He
going to make it
doesn't even have to
easier
take
for...
the LSAT?
Oh,
Oh,
that's so stressful for little Johnny.
yeah.
And it's like, well, okay, it could be a little stressful
Johnny.
for this kid, but you're just like, this kid, he's a smart kid. He did well on the SAT. He did well at the University of Georgia. It wouldn't be that hard
Yeah.
for him to do. The LSAT's easy. If you prep for it, the LSAT is easy. And this is just blatantly benefits the school more than it benefits the kids. Kids are wildly impatient and lazy, so they think it benefits them. Kids and parents are totally naive, so they think it benefits them. The people who report on these types of programs are naive, so they think it benefits the kids. It's like everybody thinks that these programs are just fabulous for the kids. And the truth is, it's just a total scam. I mean, give us 6 months, actually prepare for the LSAT, apply through normal channels, and get a $50,000 scholarship instead of a $5,000 scholarship.
10x. 10x. Yeah. Wow.
Gross. Next one
All right,
is
this next
about
one
a
is-
Georgetown law group interview.
Okay.
Interview.
I'll read it. Hey, Ben, Nathan. Yeah, interesting. Hey, Ben, Nathan, and Demon team. I recently took part in a group interview with 7 other applicants and the Dean of Georgetown Law.
Is this happening now?
In the interview, the Dean...
Like, this is current?
Sounds like it.
Georgetown's out there interviewing people in September? Okay.
Yeah. In the interview, the dean had us play as Georgetown admission officers and gave us 3 different real past scenarios. One scenario, okay, these are real, interesting. One scenario was the applicant had a high LSAT, high GPA, came from a high-ranking undergraduate institution, excellent letters of recommendation, and demonstrating strong writing skills in their optional statements.
Sounds pretty good.
However, in the personal statement, they had a few typos and mentioned another law school's name. Well, dumb. The dean asked us to rate on a scale of 1 to 10 how much it would affect our evaluation of their application. Now, this is some real meta interviewing. I said 1 because a high LSAT score and GPA, depending on how high and compared to the rest of the applicant pool, are strong indicators of how well they will do in law school and may raise Georgetown's ranking. In addition, they graduated from a high-ranking undergraduate program, have strong letters of rec, and demonstrate strong writing skills overall in their written statements. Yeah, that was a big fuck-up, though. Typo and different school name? Come on, get your shit together. I said if they far exceeded the rest of the applicant pool in these areas, then surely it wouldn't affect my evaluation much at all, other than the slight carelessness. The dean said it was a 10. Okay, so very different outcome. The dean said it was a 10 for him when he evaluated that applicant. Do you guys think he was
10
lying?
bad.
10 bad, yeah. It would affect you. It would affect the dean a lot.
Yeah.
Jeremiah, the one writing in, was saying, no, as a 1, I don't think it would affect me hardly at all. I don't know if it would be a 10, but I have to agree with the dean that like these are really bad things because it's going to make it seem like this applicant doesn't care about you. So if you admit
Yeah.
them, they're
Yeah.
unlikely to say yes.
Jeremiah also notes that the dean only said high LSAT score and high GPA. He didn't say how high LSAT score or how high GPA. Right. He's not. If this is an above median LSAT and above median GPA, I think the calculus changes quite a bit. That said, it looks awful bad, right? I mean, Jeremiah says, "Oh, well, it just seems like slight carelessness." But slight carelessness is a big deal for lawyers. So,
It's also a big deal when you think someone doesn't care about you
yeah,
as
totally.
a school.
Right. Yeah.
Like you're like, okay, we're gonna accept you, and we're not your top pick, obviously.
Yeah,
Obviously
well,
not your top pick.
you're like on dating apps or whatever, and you just and refer to somebody as by the wrong name.
Mm-hmm.
Somebody you're trying to get a date with is like, oh
Yeah.
yeah, that I don't care how good looking you are or how whatever else you are, that's probably gonna be bad. It's like an insult. It's a direct insult to them. The takeaway for this is don't name law schools in your personal statement ever. Don't name any law school
No,
in
that
your
was a
personal
dumb
statement.
mistake. Yep.
It was a
Mm-hmm.
dumb mistake to name a law school in your personal statement because you don't have to
Exactly.
do that. You could write your personal
Yeah.
statement about you instead of writing it about them. So you just don't need to name any law school. And that's the lesson here. By the way, there are reports. I mean, it happened to me where Law School Admission Council sent the wrong document to a school. Okay, so with
Mm,
me, what happened was they sent 2 copies of the same letter of recommendation instead of sending
too
one
separate.
copy of 2 letters. They sent 2 copies of the same letter.
Mm.
Terrible mistake that they made. And in my case, what it did was it resulted in my application being delayed by like 3 months.
Mm. Oh, they didn't tell you? They didn't alert you?
The
I
school
guess
didn't
the
tell me.
school, they're just like, oh, Nate's an idiot.
Yeah, well, they're just like, we get thousands of applications. Why would we give a shit?
Yeah, you
They're
didn't
busy.
satisfy the requirements. Yeah.
They're
Mm-hmm.
busy. So, I, so for the people who think, oh, well, what I'm going to do is I'm going to upload 10 different personal statements and send those 10 different personal statements to 10 different schools, you hope. You hope that it actually works. You hope that the right document gets delivered to the right school.
Mm-hmm.
Far better to just have one personal statement, don't name any school, make your personal statement about you. So that then the dean only has the information, high LSAT, high GPA, reasonable personal statement. Clean up the typos. How hard is it to clean up the typos? Georgetown's a serious law school. I think the thing you have to remember about a school like Georgetown is that they get thousands and thousands of applications. And unlike many other schools, they're not going to admit everybody. What do you guess? Like Georgetown probably admits 1 out of 4, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
So if they're only admitting 1 out of 4, then they're looking for reasons to deny people, not looking for reasons to admit people. And yeah, making stupid mistakes in your personal statement is probably a big deal. You also have to, Jeremiah's like, is this guy lying to me? No, you just have to think about who you're talking to. And you have to think about the purpose of this exercise. This little game that this guy invented, he invented it in order to like try to convince you that Georgetown is serious shit.
Mm-hmm.
So, so he's not going to say that's a 1. He's going to say that's a 10. It's not really a lie. It's in his mind, it is a 10.
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if it's immediate denial, but that's because so many things in your application are necessary but not sufficient. I think
Exactly.
Jeremiah is confused and thinking, "Oh, well, you keep saying your personal statement isn't going to get you in." Yes, but it can get you out.
Totally. No, they're looking to make sure that you're like a responsible, like serious, professional, non-crazy person.
Yeah.
And they're only going to even care if you have the right LSAT and the right GPA. But then they're also going to check off to make sure that your personal statement makes sense and doesn't, for example, name the wrong school or have a million typos.
Yeah.
Because that's just an easy, they're going to have a bunch of people that are on the bubble and they're looking for people to deny. And yeah, that's a great way to get denied for sure. Okay. Should we move on?
Yeah. Let's go to the personal statement Gong show. We have here, I guess, let's see here. Casey is up next, hoping to beat the record of 34 lines, which was set by listener Sophia. On this segment of the show, we're going to read a personal statement that one of you out in the universe, this time Casey, submitted. And as soon as we can no longer stand reading your personal statement, we will ring the gong and stop reading. Sophia got us to read 34 lines, though, so there was something good there. I don't even remember what it was about, but let's see if Casey can do it.
In July 2023, I called action on a film set for the first time.
Okay.
I'm just waiting to see if Ben has any reaction to that.
I mean, it does set a scene. I can visualize you taking on some responsibility. You're responsible for that particular scenario. So that puts you in a position of leadership. I don't love the fact that you're talking about it for the first time. I'd love to see you where you've been experienced and really kicking ass as opposed to just getting your feet wet. But okay.
Yeah, I don't care about you calling action for the first time. You're a director, right?
Mm-hmm.
Tell me about the biggest achievement you had as a director, not the first time you were a director or how you got the job as a director or you being, I'm sure you were bad at your job the first time you did this, right?
Mm-hmm.
Please don't tell me you were like brilliant in your first attempt.
Yeah.
But and I don't need to be taken on any kind of a journey, right? You don't need to have a narrative arc here. It's too short of a document. So just get right in there with okay, tell me about a challenge and how you overcame it maybe, but not your first day on the job. Anyway, he continues. I had spent 9 months balancing two roles, space, space, nonprofit manager by day and independent filmmaker by night, space, space. And I was beginning to see how much the two have in common.
Okay. I mean, we are learning facts about who is this again? Casey. We learned that you had two jobs, so you can work, long hours. Nonprofit manager, independent filmmaker, both interesting things. It's not terrible, but you could cut to the chase faster. Also, this is not an M dash as you're noticing here.
Yeah.
This is an N dash, so that is incorrect.
On a Mac, the keyboard shortcut is Option Shift Dash, and it'll create an actual M dash. Also, you don't put spaces around it if you're gonna use an M dash.
I'm not as sure that that's a requirement. What
Really?
is required though is that you be consistent.
Also,
and this is not an M dash. I'll tell you that. So I don't know. You got like the dash that goes between numbers.
It's an N dash probably, but you could also just not. You could just use periods. Just have shorter sentences. Was this really required that you had to have this? It's like basically a parenthetical.
Mm-hmm.
It's that you're using dashes for instead of parentheses. But really, do you have to have it? Why can't? There's probably another way you could write around that and just not even have that.
Yeah, you could just say as a nonprofit manager by day and an independent filmmaker by night.
You could cut out balancing two roles, right? You could say, I had spent 9 months as a nonprofit manager by day and independent filmmaker by night, period. I was beginning to see how much the two have in common. I mean, that it's okay to use a damn period sometimes. You just don't have to have these long ass sentences. Yeah. Anyway, a mix is good, and there is a mix here. The first sentence was pretty short. The next sentence is also pretty short. It says, in both roles, preparation was key. Then I'm annoyed again because we have a semicolon. It often felt like a puzzle, semicolon. I worked to connect the often disparate needs of clients and actors, risk management and operations, grant funding and creative integrity, all to create something greater. My day job illuminated some of the many ways that laws define the choices available to individuals, and my creative work has been bolstered by legal protections at every turn.
Mm, I really don't like where this is going.
Yeah, I don't
You're
either.
presenting yourself as a legal
I
expert.
hate the theme. I hate it. I hate it when people talk about the law. I just don't want to hear anybody talk about the law unless you're
Yeah.
like work in a law firm. But you
People don't
don't.
understand. Yeah. They don't understand what show means. If you want to show that you're going to kick ass in law, you show yourself kicking ass,
Right.
period, in
Right.
whatever field you are. You don't talk about the insights that
No.
you gained or the realizations that you made. You just start talking
Right.
about what you did well.
Yeah, this makes me think you don't have any idea what you're talking about. It does the exact opposite of the intended effect.
Mm-hmm.
You rhapsodizing about how your day job illuminated the many ways that law. Look at even what he's saying. My day job illuminated some of the many ways that laws define the choices available to individuals.
Yeah, total empty, you know,
The fuck are you talking
platitudes.
about? What is it? What
Yeah.
do you mean? What are you
Give me
talking about?
one way, give me one law, give me one choice, and give me one individual
Yeah.
that you learned about.
Yeah. And then
Or is it none?
the next line, my creative work has been bolstered by legal protections at every turn.
Every turn. You take you literally, you're calling action and someone's like, "Wow, I almost would have been hurt by this situation, but there's a legal protection here that made it possible for me to continue acting in this scene." Like, what the hell are you even talking about?
Bolstered. Bolstered means provided with padded support, like
To
snuggling down into
reinforce?
a heavily bolstered seat. Yeah, it means to support or to strengthen or to prop up. Like the fall in interest rates is starting to bolster confidence, or he wished to bolster up his theories with hard data. How exactly was your creative work bolstered by legal protections? What do you mean?
Well, I just can't get over at every turn because that means like literally every little decision was somehow impacted by legal protections.
I
Like,
think
get
it's
out of
pure
here.
bullshit. It sounds to me
Yeah.
like pure bullshit. Like I mean, not knowing Casey at all,
Yeah.
it's like it's as you said, empty platitudes. It sounds like
Mm.
complete bullshit. It sounds like you're trying really hard to stretch to make some connection between what you've done and the law.
Mm-hmm.
And instead, you should be just far more plain spoken, far more humble, and just talk about what you actually did.
Yep.
You're like it's just so grandiose. Grandiose is the perfect word for this.
Mm-hmm.
It's like it's not just in one, not in one context, but in both contexts. In one context, I've learned so much about the ways that laws define the choices available to individuals. And then in this other context, your creative work is being bolstered at every turn by the law. And someone who's actually been to law school or works at a law school reads this and goes, "What the fuck are you talking about?
Yeah.
What? Like, you're kissing ass, but I'm not learning anything about you. I've learned so far that you're an independent filmmaker and a nonprofit manager. But all the rest of this is completely empty."
Nate, your Wi-Fi just went down. You got to go get that fixed.
God damn it.
What are you gonna? No, I'm saying
Oh.
for the sake of this. You got to go get that fixed with the IT people at your law school.
Yeah,
What are you gonna think about Casey here?
right. I mean, if I don't come back to like if I come back 2 hours later and I got Casey's file open, I probably go back and look at LSAT and GPA those had better be pretty compelling numbers, or else I'm just kind of I'm not like enthusiastic about this. This is okay, yeah, filmmaker, nonprofit manager, basically kissing ass, like I haven't really learned, I don't have a picture really of Casey other than,
Mm-hmm.
oh, the filmmaker guy.
Yeah.
But I'm not excited because I've seen a lot of bullshit and I haven't seen a lot of like there's no substance yet.
You know what's crazy is this is everyone's problem. Everyone's problem is that their first sentence, first paragraph, first three paragraphs, first page just sucks.
Yeah.
And they lose their reader and they don't
Yep.
realize that their reader has been lost. I look
Yep.
at the second paragraph and I'm thinking this is already better.
Quite common. I mean, I would say, yeah, just rough rule of thumb, shortcut for everybody out there. I think more than half of you will improve your personal statement if you just cut the first paragraph without even
Yep.
reading it.
Yeah.
I think if you
Yeah.
just cut the first paragraph, it's probably better.
Yeah.
Okay, anyway, Casey goes on. We haven't rang the gong yet, right?
No. I
Casey
mean,
goes on and
we're
says,
on the edge. Yeah.
we're getting close. Casey says, I spent 3 years as the program manager. Trump case there on program manager. I don't
Mm.
like that. I don't think
Nope.
program manager deserves proper noun status. I spent 3 years as the program manager of blank, a nonprofit program helping refugee home cooks build cultural bridges and economic resilience through food. I oversaw venue and client agreements, supply chains, food safety certifications, and completed schedules that accommodated our clients' religious observances and family needs. You know, not bad actually.
Not bad.
Because now Casey's talking about stuff he actually did. Instead of,
As a program manager, as a leader
yeah,
of some organization, helping people. Like, oh, okay, cool.
no,
Yeah,
Ben,
nice.
this is an example of the law defining the choices that are available to individuals.
Oh, I see. Yes. Okay, my bad.
Yeah, cut that horseshit and just get into what actually you're talking about.
Yeah.
Um, I will say, be careful. There's way too many ands in this statement.
Yeah.
I
Cultural
think
bridges and economic resilience. Hmm.
venue and client agreements,
Yeah.
religious observances and family needs.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, okay, you can pick one or the other. You don't need to be, it's just,
Check out the next sentence.
okay. Both informal and formal negotiations were constant. Oh, God. So wait a minute. So the subject of this sentence is informal and formal negotiations. And the verb is they were.
Were.
What were they? Constant. So it's like this is the least possible action you could have. It's just these things. What are the things doing? They are being.
They're just
What are they
hovering
being?
in the
Oh, they're
air.
being constant.
You show up at work and it's just constant negotiation.
How about I negotiated?
Yep.
I negotiated. Don't be afraid of I sentences. And the paragraph did have two I sentences at the beginning. And so maybe that's what Casey's feeling like, well, I just can't have every sentence start with I. Okay,
Yeah.
maybe you want to mix it up a little bit,
Our
but
team, we, yeah, sure.
yeah. Okay, both informal and formal negotiations were constant. And working with clients from such diverse countries as Syria, Eritrea, Afghanistan, and Ghana meant that there was rarely a one size fits all answer. Oh, Jesus Christ. Okay, I'm ringing the gong because the next sentence says, like many legal practice areas, comma, it called upon formal training, blah, blah, blah. Nobody
Yeah.
wants to hear what you have to say about that. I'm sorry. You don't have legal training.
Authority. Yep.
You are not a lawyer. You haven't been to law school. Even people who have gone to law school shouldn't talk about that type of stuff. But
Yeah.
people who are still applying to law school, you don't need to tell lawyers what legal practice is about.
Mm-hmm.
That's gong worthy for me.
Yep.
Is this an automatic fail from law school? No. If they're seriously reading this, as long as there's not like a bunch of typos and stuff, I think they already like your LSAT and your GPA. You're probably fine. Are you putting your best foot forward? Absolutely not. Is this the type of personal statement that's going to like get you over the hump if you're on the bubble? Nope. Because I'm 2 paragraphs in and I'm only like getting irritated with how much you think you know about the law. And that's not the assignment. The assignment is for me to get to know you. Right? Like, you start lecturing lawyers about the law, and it's just all you're doing is telling on yourself that you don't know what you're talking about. You're just like, oh, I'm
Yeah.
naive and I'm going to try to bullshit you, and I have no idea that you know way better than me. I'm just going to keep coming with the bullshit anyway. It's just
Look
not.
at this. Yeah, sorry.
Go ahead.
I had to keep reading. I'm just curious. I immediately reviewed our venue agreements and secured an amended schedule for a prorated fee. Like you're playing the role of attorney now. Like it's just it doesn't come across the way you think it does.
People think that they have to like sell this connection to the law.
Yeah. Yeah.
Meanwhile, the lawyers are like, no, the law encompasses everything. Don't worry. We'll tell you how our shit is the master of your shit. But you tell us how you're really good at your shit. And then we'll
This
decide whether we want to invite you into the guild. But you lecturing us about the guild and how you're already great at this stuff, that's not it.
No, it doesn't come across that way. I mean, look at these. These are more just like pronouncements about the law. That day reinforced that contracts aren't just static lists
Oh,
of rules
God.
to be followed. They are frameworks for flexible, effective problem solving. Okay, you're not a professor at a law school.
Nor are you a contract lawyer. Just stop it. Just talk about what you've actually done.
Hmm.
Thank you. Thank you for playing. That is not a new record holder. I don't know how many lines that was, Casey, but it was a couple paragraphs. And I just think you can do better. I just think there's so much. Why don't you tell me about your filmmaking? But don't lecture me about the legal agreements or the legal protections or whatever. Just tell me what you did. Tell me about problems that you solved while you were doing your filmmaking. Or
Yeah.
tell me about problems that you solved as a program manager, but tell me about managing people. Sure, you can tell me about negotiating, but you don't ever need to say law or legal or
Contracts.
contract. Just don't worry about it. That's for after law school, not before law school. Okay. Moving on. Thank you, Casey.
Yeah,
Hey,
yeah. Mm.
thinkinglsat.com if you want to submit. By the way, we do want PDF submissions because I want to see the actual document that you're planning on submitting to the school. So please do submit that as PDF so that we can see the spacing, fonts, all that kind of
The
stuff.
final. Yeah,
Well,
yeah.
I want to see a PDF. That's what lawyers would do, is send a PDF. So let's see that.
Cool. All right, so word of the week. I don't know where this is coming to us from, but yeah, do you want to read the sentence?
Sure, and I know this word. The panel directed counsel to focus oral argument on the dispositive issues. If I were to tell you,
Mm.
Ben, let's just talk about the dispositive issues. What am I asking for?
Well, the phrase that comes to mind is make or break. Like
Hmm.
it's the ones that maybe this is just coming to me vaguely. It could be wrong, but it's almost like the necessary issues. Like without
Hmm.
them,
Yeah, or sufficient,
nothing's
probably.
going. Yeah,
Either
going
way,
forward.
right?
Yeah,
Let's talk about the winning or losing issues. You said make
issues.
or break. I think that's totally
Yeah.
fine. Notice the root of this word is the same as dispose.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So that's
Mm-hmm.
what the court is asking for. The court is like, hey, quit your bullshitting. I want to hear about the dispositive issues.
Yep.
In other words, I want this off my docket. How do I get it off my docket? Tell me how I dispose of this case. So I want to hear the winning and losing. I want to hear, do you have a route to automatically winning? Let's hear about that. Do you have a route to them automatically losing,
Mhm.
let's hear about that. That's the
Yeah.
only thing I want to hear about. I want to hear about the dispositive issues. Should we look up the definition?
Yeah, I just clicked on it. It says directed toward or affecting disposition as of a case. So
Disposition,
dispositive,
how you dispose of. Yeah, it's not
how
a
you
very good
decide.
definition.
No, how you decide the case. So directed towards or affecting the final outcome, essentially, right? So if it's not dispositive, then we don't care. Were they wearing a red shirt or a green shirt? That's not dispositive. That's not the point at issue here that actually matters.
Make or break. I want to hear
Make or
the
break.
make or break issues.
Yeah.
We can put this word in context of something that we talked about earlier when we were talking about the Georgetown group interview.
Yeah.
For this dean,
Mhm.
naming the wrong law school in your personal statement is dispositive. Jeremiah thought that it was a nothing. It's just a little carelessness. No, this dean says that's enough for me to deny you. That's a 10. That's a 10 out of 10 on bad things you could do. That will allow me to get your application off my desk and not in your favor. That's going to allow me to dispose of your application in the negative because you named the wrong law school in your personal statement. That's enough of an insult and enough of a big mistake that it doesn't look lawyerly to me. Also, I'm personally insulted. I will now dispose of your application. Yeah. Cool.
All right. Be
What if
LSAT famous. Oh, yeah.
What if I really loved Word of the Week?
You could go to lsat.link/wow. WOW.
Nice. That's all of our Word of the Week segments on one webpage.
Mhm.
Cool.
Thanks for bringing that in.
Mhm.
Be LSAT famous. Please ask questions or share news with us on our website, thinkinglsat.com, or on our socials at LSAT Demon. If you have questions about the LSAT Demon, about LSAT Demon, email help@lsatdemon.com. You can also check out our other podcast, LSAT Demon Daily. That was episode 527 of the Thinking LSAT podcast. Thanks all y'all for listening. Nice knowing you. Don't pay for law school.